Hello, my name is Anne, and I'd like to welcome you here to the drawing room at Kylemore Abbey. And my colleague Garrett and I are going to introduce you to some of the great women of Kylemore. So I just want to draw your attention to this portrait of Margaret Vaughan, who married Mitchell Henry, who built the castle. And he actually built the castle for her because they came here on honeymoon in 1849, and Margaret absolutely fell in love with the place, so Mitchell vowed that he would build her a castle. So that's what he did. He built a Kylemore castle a few years later. So Margaret, she made a big contribution to the area. She was very much behind Mitchell Henry and his efforts to improve the living conditions of people in Kylemore, which had suffered greatly during the Great Famine. So she used to go into people's houses and help with the sick, and she came with clothes and food for them. And this is evidenced by these articles. We have articles of the press from Freeman's Journal, refrains here, and also there's a comment made by one of the tenants in this article here. When Margaret died in 1874, the tenant said that when she died, they didn't lose a mistress, they lost a mother.
So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Garrett. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the nuns got here to Kylemore Estate in the year 1920. For many centuries they were in the town of Ypres in western Belgium, and in 1914 they were obliged to leave Flanders because of the destruction of their abbey in the First World War. So in the First Battle of Ypres in November 1914, so many artillery shells landed on the town that the entire complex of abbey buildings and church belonging to the Benedictine community was completely obliterated. So in a panic, they were forced over the roads of Belgium with the assistance of the British Red Cross and escorted across the English Channel to Alton Priory in the Midlands of England for a time until 1916, a very momentous year in Irish history. They then were transported across the Irish Sea to County Wexford, to MacMind's house, where they stayed until 1920. They then became aware in the year 1920 that this building behind me, Kylemore Castle, was still on sale at the 1/3 of the original asking price, and that was 45,000 English pounds. In today's money, that's more like 3 million euros. The nuns had the ability to spend on that because they got some help from wealthy Catholic benefactors, but in the main, the Sisters of the Order of St. Benedict, of course, are self-sufficient because they're a teaching order of nuns. So since 1920, they have been here. They started a school for girls, which ran for 87 years, and certainly were able to pay off the mortgage in a relatively short time, about a dozen years or so. So they've been here ever since, doing their daily life of work and prayer.
So unfortunately, Mitchell Henry had to put Kylemore on the market in 1902 to avoid bankruptcy. So the estate was bought in 1903 by the Duke and Duchess of Manchester. You see their photos here. And it was bought at the behest of the Duchess, who was formerly Helena Zimmerman. So they bought it in 1903, and Helena, she carried on the work really of Margaret Henry, because she was also a big proponent of social equality. So when she came here, she tried to improve the living conditions of the tenants, and she in fact opened a school for the girls, teaching them the female crafts like cooking and sewing, to prepare them for the world. And she was also the president of the local National Women's Health Association.